Hey, babe, welcome back to the Turned On Woman podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Schaefer. This is the space where you tune in to turn on your energy because everything is energy and you attract who you are being. And when you can truly change your thoughts, your beliefs, and when you can start to even change your behaviors so that you feel better more often and you're choosing those thoughts and beliefs that really light you up, that really bring you into the realm of, oh my gosh, my most loving and desirable relationship is available to me. I know that it's mine. I know that my desires are meant for me. When all of that makes you feel so good, you are literally a turned on woman, which means your energy, your energetic frequency is literally higher. It's in love, bliss, joy. If you haven't seen the emotional range, we know that there's what we call high vibe, good emotions, positive emotions, let's say. And we also know that there's negative emotions, but those are just labels that we've given them. They're literally vibrating at a high frequency or at a low frequency. You want to be operating more often, a majority of the time. You want your dominant vibration, your dominant frequency, your dominant energy to be one that is high vibe, as they say. So this means that you are more in the realm of possibility, of pleasure, of play, of joy, of adventure. And it feels good. It feels good to be there. Otherwise, you're kind of in the realm of those lower negative emotions, sadness, anger, guilt, shame. Those have a place, and those are very good indicators of where something might be off. So it's good to have those as contrast, but a majority of the time, you want to be turning on your energy through your thoughts, through your beliefs, through how you treat yourself, through what you know is possible, so that you can attract who you are being. Because I know that you know how to attract things in your life. I know that you know how to manifest things, but you have certain thoughts and beliefs that are blocking you from a man, that are blocking you from the love that you desire. Maybe it's been so easy for you to manifest a job in your life or manifest like a new apartment. It's because you didn't have beliefs that were blocking you. But perhaps, whether it started in childhood or it's based on past relationships that you've had, you have beliefs that are blocking your energy, that are in the way of you attracting the man that is meant for you and attracting multiple men over and over as you're dating. Using dating as a tool to expand your desire into what you want and the type of relationship that you want. So that's why you're here. You're here to turn on your energy as a woman so that you can attract who you are being. I am so excited for today's episode. It's going to be a juicy, potent episode all about something that we hear a lot of is that men lead. Men lead. A masculine man leads. So then we would assume that the woman, the feminine, follows. If someone is leading, then someone is following. But here's the interesting thing. The feminine is leading, but in a different way. So first, let's back up. We know that masculine energy is more our energy of using our mind, of strategizing, of planning, of thinking things through, being consistent, action-oriented, things of that nature. And we know that primarily more of the feminine side is relaxation, is pleasure, is compassion, is nurturing, is also this emotional side. And so they both have like hot and cold aspects to them, both the masculine and the feminine. And we all have both masculine and feminine within us. And then we get to decide which one feels most like our true nature. So for most feminine beings, I would say beings with a uterus, those who are birthing beings into the planet, most of those beings are going to resonate with feminine energy as their innate core energy. And then most men, those without uteruses, are going to resonate with masculine energy, being in that masculine energy more often. But we want to have both. We need to have both. We need to be in touch with both in order for them to be integrated within us in our lives. Because a woman is going to use her masculine energy when she's executing on her work and other things in her life. And also the dynamics within a relationship, they're going to go back and forth a little bit too. But what I'm talking about is your feminine energy in relation to a man that you are in romantic partnership with, and you wanting to be in your feminine energy more often than the man. So then, as we say, a man leads, which we would then assume the woman follows. So does that just mean she's like the passenger princess, doesn't do anything? No. Because the feminine is leading herself with her desire. She's leading herself, and then she brings also that desire in relation to the man to the relationship. And let's also not forget, this is getting like a layer deeper, but my mentor says the feminine frequency goes first, but it's very different than a leading energy, and it's not an action-taking energy necessarily. And the way I have seen this play out in my own life is what I call the feminine invitation. You've probably heard me speak about being the feminine invitation. And a woman needs to be so in tune with herself, what she's available for, and her desire, and her sense of being, her ability to be and to feel safe there and worthy there and just all knowing. So this builds your feminine invitation, which simply becomes this sort of expression of unconditional love, is that she's willing to make connections and spread love, share love, be love unconditionally. She's not trying to get anything. She's not manipulating, like people pleasing, trying to be someone that she's not because she thinks that this, you know, if you assume that someone wants you to be a certain way and so now you're going to be that way so that they accept you, that's actually very manipulative energy. So when she's authentically herself and then also unconditionally sharing that expression, connecting with others without expecting something in return, and whether or not she gets something in return then determines how she further uses her energy going forward. So it's also very good information. This is why leading with your feminine actually sets a very good precedent for yourself, because you're leading with your desire and you're able to then make better decisions going forward. Oh, does this person honor my true nature of being? Do they honor my true expression of who I am being? Or did they not? And now I know that I want to spend less time with that person because I can't be myself around them. I can't be accepted for who I am. That doesn't feel good. The feminine is always looking to feel good, and then she does good. Feminine feels good to do good, whereas the masculine is actually the opposite. Men do good to feel good. They want to execute. They want to take action. They want to be consistent, things like that. That makes them feel good. This is why we let men pursue us, is because it actually feels good for the right man who's in alignment with his masculine energy. If he's not pursuing, if you're having to do the pursuing, the polarity, the energy is flipped. And then you're not setting the precedent for what you actually desire. And therefore, if you don't have those standards for, you know, the type of communication that you would like, then you're getting yourself into a whole mess of a situation that you probably don't want to be in with this man going forward. So the feminine frequency goes first, and I call this the feminine invitation, which means that, as I said, unconditionally, you are willing to show your interest to a man. Being the invitation is all about showing interest, because your feminine energy is like a door. It's either open or it's closed. And if it's closed, it means you're being self-protected. It means that you are looking for validation from the outside. You're like, nope, I'm not opening the door until you give me a good reason why. And that's not giving unconditionally to the world. You have to become, I wouldn't typically use this word, but like more so selfless, but it's more unconditional, because I do want you to be selfish in the fact of caring about how you feel, but only up until the point that it's actually working for you and not against you. You don't want to be so closed off and so self-protected that it's working against you, that you're not actually able to make true, authentic connections because you're afraid of being taken advantage of. So what if giving unconditionally, then you could see actually who does take advantage of that expression. So it's almost like you, again, being willing to go first with this magnetism and your expression. And then from there, because that feels good to you, because actually to a true feminine natured woman, self-protecting herself is not going to feel good, because you're going to constantly be in your head thinking and analyzing every situation, whether or not it's safe. And then ultimately it's like, oh, nope, I'm just not going to go. I'm not going to go to do the activity because I don't know the outcome. I'm not going to go to a networking event where I don't know anybody because I can't do that. That's too scary. That's out of my comfort zone. Whereas when you're in your feminine energy and you're validating yourself and you don't need anything from the outside, basically you give like no fucks, and you're just like, I'm proud of who I am. I'm showing up in my worth. Take me or leave me. That is your most authentically validated true nature. That is so magnetic, because when you don't need anything from the outside, nothing can kill your vibe. You're feeling good. And that's what being turned on is, being turned on in your energy. So when your feminine energy is turned on, when you're being the invitation, you are, again, showing interest and giving men the green light. That's especially as you're meeting new men. This is what it's about, being the feminine invitation. This happens to me in my life of just making conversation with men. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to unconditionally make conversation with you. I'm not expecting an outcome. I'm not expecting you to ask for my number, because the minute I start expecting something, then I start to make it about my worth. I start to connect whether or not his actions are going to be connected to whether or not I'm worthy of him doing that or not, when that's out of my control. You want to only control what you can control. So you can't make a man's actions, whether or not he does something, about you or about how you feel or about your worth, because that's just a losing game. You don't want to be in that position. You want to be doing things unconditionally because it feels good to you, and that's your innate nature. So when you get into a relationship, your feminine energy is leading you with desire. And you may have even kind of given a man a green light, or like you might, this gets very nuanced, because you might give a man your number. If that feels good to you, that's within your feminine energy. And as long as it feels good and it's something that's playful and it's something that you desire to do, and you allow him to take the next step, to actually make the plan, to actually put things into place, that's totally you staying in your feminine energy. You can technically make what would look like the first move, as long as you do it unconditionally, as long as it's in alignment with your pleasure and your play, and you're not making whether or not he does message you, you're not making that about your worth. You're not feeling bad if he doesn't. You're just like, well, I did it. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Okay, great. Excellent. It's an excellent way to stay in your feminine energy. So it is so important for the feminine to be desire-led, because that means that you are in touch with your emotions in your body, with what you are being drawn towards, with what feels right to you. Because that feeling that you have is your truth that you are able to bring to yourself and to your relationship. And so while a man can lead by planning things and executing things and doing things, and that's going to feel good to you as the woman because you don't have to think about it. You get to, the best thing that I think for me is like, oh, a man planned a date and I get to now get excited to look forward to the date. I get to start thinking about what I'm going to wear and like dolling myself up, making myself feel good, how I'm going to treat myself before that date. It's like this like nice anticipation of excitement. And I don't have to overthink, all of the plans because he's got it. And I just get to show up and be in my full energy. That feels really good. So this energy of desire is something that you want to get in touch with. And the way you get in touch with that is to notice, what is it that you truly want? What do you desire? Are you claiming your biggest desires, or are you watering them down? Are you living more practically? Are you saying, oh, I can't do that, have that, be that, because? Are you living by some rules that actually feel very limiting to you? Are you unapologetically and authentically able to show up and express yourself? Let's say it could be in your wardrobe, could be in the way that you speak, or are you changing who you are in order to be more loved and accepted? Are you leading yourself in your day-to-day to your desires? Like all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I'd really like to go out for a morning latte. Oh, but I shouldn't spend money on that, so I'm going to stay home instead, and da-da-da. When actually, if you had led yourself with your desire to that coffee shop, maybe there's someone there to chat with, or maybe it makes you feel good, and then you get another idea of like, oh yeah, I'm going to call so-and-so. Oh yeah, I'm going to do this thing. Oh yeah, I'm going to post this thing on, whatever, social media. It could be anything, because when you're feeling good, the flow starts to happen. And this is why it's so important to be in touch with your desire, because your desire is actually the frequency of your truth, which is connected to like your soul and your heart's desire. You cannot be led wrong. That's why there is that saying that your desires are meant for you, because you wouldn't have the desire if it was not available to you. And to take this even like nerdier, you only have that desire because there's a version of you in the quantum field where all possibilities exist. There's a version of you that has that desire, that has that relationship that you want, that lives in the house that you want, that, you name it. The desire is there. And this is why it is so important for you to unapologetically claim your desires, and even claim the desires of what you want in relationship and how you want to be treated. And when you are able to claim those desires of, oh, I want a man who's going to communicate with me consistently. I don't want to have to, guess what he's feeling or where he's at. I want a man that communicates with me consistently. Okay, great. That desire can be absolutely realized by you when you then build your standards into, okay, I'm only accepting men who communicate consistently with me, and that it feels good, a level of consistency that feels good, that is supportive to the type of relationship that I want to have. So therefore, it's going to take a little bit of time to clear out that old energy, because we know that when your desire is realized by you, it's already on its way. And there will be some old energies that come your way first. This is what people call as like tests. You get tested because it's actually a reflection of your old energy. So for example, I've talked about this a couple of times. When I left Texas and I came to Mexico, I I ended this sort of relationship, and I was then like, you know what? I never really felt good with that guy. And I was like, I think it's because it started such as a situationship. And I was like, I'm just not going to do that again. I was like, my desire is for someone to fully respect me for who I am and wants to get to know me before ever thinking about getting intimate with me. So I then was like, okay, my own desire is that I want a man who can be friends with me before we take things further. I want to be shown that I can be friends with a man first. I want him to show me that. Then I was like, okay, then my boundary becomes I don't accept men. My boundary and my standard kind of become that I don't accept men who just want to sleep with me right away. And I moved to Mexico and I did my own thing for a week or two. Then I went to a gathering with some friends, met someone. He seemed nice. We were talking. We hit it off. We hung out a couple more times, but I was very clear from the beginning when he asked me for my number. I said, I'm just looking for friends right now. I just got here. I just want to establish friendships. Okay, we hung out. And there we developed like this attraction. You could feel the attraction between us. And he wanted to push things along further than I did. And I just kept telling him, no, I'm not ready for that. And so I know that he was this old energy coming in that was like, you know, are you going to go back to what you've normally accepted? Or are you going to stay true to the new desire that you have? And I said, nope, not for me. I'm not going that route. And we faded things out. It ended, whatever. And I was upset though. I was like, oh my gosh, like, is any man ever gonna, am I ever gonna be able to see, what I want, this desire being met of a man who could just be my friend? And the next man that I met just hung out with me as a friend. We consistently went to play volleyball on the beach, and he showed me. We would play volleyball and then we would go have dinners together afterwards, and we would chat and we would get to know each other. And he would just show up in a way where he just genuinely wanted to get to know me, didn't try to pressure me into anything. And I was like, wow, this man is really showing me that he respects me and wants to get to know me first and foremost. And I was like, okay, here it is. And then after that, I dated that guy for a little bit, but then after that, I consistently had this as my prerequisite of like, okay, I make sure that there's a period of time where I see that someone is truly just getting to know me without trying to force things along. And if he's forcing things along, it's not right. It's not right for me. It's not in a match with my desire. It's not in alignment with my desire. So that's just an example of how these old energies still come to us, are still attracted to us because we're clearing out. And we get to choose at that point. We come to a fork in the road. Are you going to choose the old way of being? Or are you going to choose the new standard that supports your desire? And then you get better and better at knowing what this internal desire feels like. And it also is connected to your intuition. The more that you get out of your head and you are turned on in your energy, you're in this high vibrational frequency more often, you have then access to your intuition, which starts to show up as this desire of what it is that you want. Because remember, your desires are connected to your soul, which is also like your intuition, which is also like your desires are out there for you in the quantum field. They are just requiring a frequency match for you to see them. For you to see them in your reality, for you to experience them, because you cannot experience that which you are not the frequency of. You attract who you are being. So everything is a reflection of you, and you can only experience what you are the frequency of. Another quote that I really like is that we experience our beliefs. Well, guess what? Our beliefs also determine our frequency, because the thoughts that we frequent, which are our beliefs, create our frequency. So if I believe that I'm unlovable and therefore I need someone to show me their love before I'm able to love myself, then I'm never going to be in that frequency to attract someone who loves me until I love myself. If I believe that I'm unlovable, then I'm just going to continue moping around, walking around, being in a low frequency and never attract someone who's the frequency of love, because it's on a different wavelength, literally vibrating at a different wavelength. Okay, so your desires are always leading you. And so one of my biggest desires too was claiming the fact that like, I really want to live in a foreign country. I want to live abroad. I want to practice Spanish. That to me sounds really fun. Your desires are for you to have fun, are for you to be expansive. But oftentimes we're coming up with so many excuses for why we can't have things, why we can't say things the way we want to say, why we can't express ourselves in a certain way because so-and-so said this, or there's the repercussion of this, or you're afraid because of this, or you're afraid of being rejected as well. When really when you're in your own authenticity and following your desire, yes, you're going to be rejected for the things that are not, for the things and the people who are not meant for you, which is a good thing, but you're going to be a stronger point of attraction for the people and the things, the opportunities in life that are meant for you. So it is so important for you as a woman to be led by your desire and to spend time in this desire and this playfulness. And so like, what are you truly doing in your life that is for just pleasure and just play? Like for me, I learned how to skate. That was just for me. I've done salsa dancing. I've gone to painting classes. Like you have to do things that are just for you. I've started hula hooping. Things that feel good to you. And they're probably going to be outside of your comfort zone. And that's actually a really good place to be because you're expanding your desire. Now, I just want to touch on this as well, too. This is why dating is expansive. It's because when you are shown with a man something that you don't want, your desire is then born for what you do want. So if you're shown inconsistent communication and you want consistent communication, that desire is then born. But then it's up to you to uphold your standards and your boundaries to get that desire because it is available for you. But remember, you attract who you are being. So are you able to hold your standards and your boundaries to the desire, to uphold the desire that you want to attract? And you will attract it. So it always comes back to you. And so your feminine is leading herself and is very important when it comes to meeting a man and authentically being in alignment with a man, because when you're able to lead yourself with your desire, you will be leading yourself on the path. This is why meeting a man is inevitable when you use your feminine energy. It's because you will lead yourself to places where the man will be there. I've always met men in person, and they are more and more representative of the man who's going to be a good fit for me in my life. And that one that aligns to my vision and my values and how I want to be treated in relationship, how I want to lead a family one day, all of these things. This is how dating is expansive. And following your desire, even to meet a man, is so important. This is why I don't believe in the dating apps, because you can follow your innate desire to be in the place at the right time, which is simply alignment. And your desire will always put you in alignment at the right place at the right time. The man that I'm currently dating, I just happened to be in the coffee shop at the same time that he was. It's actually, there's a longer story to it. I'll tell it on here at some point. But anyway, then I actually asked him a question because I knew that he had an online business and I knew that I could ask him the question and get the answer, and I wasn't expecting anything. And I wasn't even giving him a green light at that point. I was just making connection. Again, this unconditional connection. But we had a good conversation. It sparked his interest. I wasn't even trying to do that. And then he followed up and started to pursue. And all the meanwhile, I let him pursue me. I let him take the action to come to me because that was what I desired. But there, of course, were some days where I did text him first and things like that. And I did so unconditionally because it felt good to me to express myself in that way. And sometimes did a little voice come up of like, ooh, I wonder if this is too much. Ooh, I wonder what he's going to think. Yes. But then I was like, you know what? My intention of messaging him is coming from a place of love and joy and happiness and wanting to express this way. And if he isn't receptive of this, then he's not the one for me. So again, it is using my feminine energy and my expressiveness and my authenticity and my desire to weed out those who are not for me by setting the precedent and using my feminine energy first and foremost. It is the best filter that there can be when you are truly honoring yourself and having the best relationship to yourself and validating yourself first, and then offering your love and your expression and your connection from a very unconditional place. Woo! Okay, I love talking about feminine being desire-led. Let me know what specific questions you have. My DMs are open on Instagram. DM me. Let me know that you listened to the episode. I would love to hear your key takeaways or any aha moments that you had. And as always, I will see you next time on the next episode, babe.